Really had a lot of fun with the movie. And Phil,
Awesome.
Keenan and Kel, they just have that incredible chemistry. How great was it knowing that your two leads just have that baked in, built in chemistry that just can't be faked? Because that has to make everything so much easier.
That and they're really nice people, you know. So it was just great. I mean, it was perfect. It was great because it was starting from a great script. So, and that they're professional actors who learn their lines. So you start with a base like that, and then they're nice when you give them notes, and then they want to add their little spin on everything, and then you don't say cut, and they keep going in character. I mean, it's all good.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And Kevin, this is sequel has been discussed for years. How is it crafting the right story for this follow-up? Because I don't think anybody really knew, the legacy the original Good Burger would have. So you have so much to work on and such a fan base that are, hold it in such high reverence.
Yeah, well, for us, when we finished the first movie, we really didn't feel like it was over yet. We always felt like there was more of a story to tell, and we wanted to see all these characters again. And then we just started to try to get with the times. So you start bringing up the technology as that changes through the years, added it into the story, kept the mega corporations taking over the little guy, and there you go. It's a little formula. It's almost like the sauce.
And you update it in a smart way. We kind of get like the AI taking over the
Yep.
human element. That was a really fun observation. And Heath, the characters are at a very different place in their lives now.
Sure.
Ed is still very much Ed though, but
Yes.
Yeah.
Dexter is very much trying to be successful, but having a hard time finding his way as an inventor. How is it kind of finding those right places of where those characters were at 26 years later?
Well, we really wanted to find something that made sense, that was true and consistent to what we set up in the first film. So, as you said, Ed's only going to evolve so much, but we did want to expand his world. So, I think some of the fun of this movie is seeing his home life and meeting his family. And so, there's a whole extra dimension there. For Keenan's character, we figured he's a schemer to a degree, but, a well intentioned person, somebody who's had years and years of failed business endeavors or minutely successful business endeavors. And we wanted to set up a situation that takes him to this place where he is now, where he has to reconnect with his old friend.
And Phil, the cameos are hilarious in this one, and the original film had a lot, some really great ones. You were able to top it here. The Imagine parody song was so funny. I know a lot of people were like fans of the original or friends with the actors, but how was it trying to fit all these great names into the script and have them play little roles where they could pop up and not be a huge focus, but add something to the movie?
I think that's exactly the right thing you said.
Yeah.
They're not a huge focus, but they add to the movie. Because they might just say one line for disgruntled customer number 3 or something. And then we get Gronk. It just comes and wants to do it.
Yeah.
But he knew that he was playing in the Good Burger universe, so he wasn't going to the Gronk show suddenly. He was just there, and that's the spirit that most people came with, like everyone came with, like just to play along and be part of this sort of amazing experience and not to try to take over it on themselves. So
Yeah.
we got cameos from the original film, like Laurie Beth and Josh Server and blah blah blah, and then we had a whole bunch of new people in. So hopefully you're watching it, and at every stage you're like, oh my god, oh look at that.
There are bits that were written, like you mentioned, the Imagine parody, which we said, well, let's write this like sort of celebrity song, and that's written in a way where anybody that you might be able to get at any point can end up getting into this movie. And then there's other stuff like the Mark Cuban scene, which is written specifically for Mark Cuban, right?
Actually,
That's
it wasn't. It was celebrity. It was investors. Do you remember?
Right,
And then Mark
Celebrity
Cuban
investors.
reached out to say he wanted randomly. His agent phoned me and was like, Mark desperately wants to be in the movie. His kids love it. How can he be in it? And it was also, well, there's a celebrity investor written,
Oh,
but
yeah, right,
he could
right.
play that part. It was like
Yeah.
amazing.
And then we just added stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Made it
it
more
was amazing.
That's so fun. And Kevin, one of the things I really loved in this film was meeting Ed's family. First off, Ed too is the perfect name for his son, but the whole family was great. How was it coming up with the names for the kids? You got
Just
Ketchup, you
way,
got
you know what? I wish he had more kids because we had way more names. And it was just so great. One of his kids glows in the dark. Come on, you know. It was
Kel's
fun.
own kids play his kids, or play two of
Yeah,
his
two
kids.
of his kids.
Yeah.
So two of those kids are Kel's real kids.
Yeah, the littlest two.
Yeah.
And then Lil Rel's son is one of the other kids, the glow in the dark one.
that's incredible. That's such a cool touch.
And my favorite name, I think one of them's called like mustard and ketchup. One's called No Mayo. He named his kids No. That's my favorite.
That's
Onion
great.
cries a lot.
Yeah.
Onion cries a lot.
Heath, there's so many great throwbacks to the original. How was it kind of balancing, the nostalgia that people have while also telling a new meaningful story? Because I thought you really treaded that line well.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I mean, it was really important to us that we satisfied fans of the original. As a fan of other films and seeing sequels that kind of let me down, I wanted to make sure we were pleasing the original audience, but in a way that didn't alienate like a whole new potential generation of fans. So again, we had to have a really good story to hang the comedic bits on. And then the Easter eggs and the cameos and the little bits that we added in that were maybe references to the original, to us, that was just like a depth. It was like it's rewarding if you get the original references, but it's also, if you don't, it's just a funny bit. So it's not distracting in any way.
Yeah, that was great. And Phil, my last question for you guys. Lil Rel and Jillian Bell are just so fun as the villains. Great choices. Can you speak to them, just their comedic timing's on point and them just being a real great foil for our leading duo?
Because they rhymed.
Because they rhymed.
Rel and Del.
And having
That's
Kel.
why we picked them.
Yeah,
Kel
and that was
and-
Kel, Bell, and
people call me
Rel.
Fel sometimes. They were they're just both really funny, aren't they? And and you respect both of them for their comedy. Like that's. I think if you say their names to people or show their faces to people, they just smile and go, "Oh yeah, they're fun." They seem like nice people who are very funny as well. So, and they got their villainous nature very well. Like it was, they kept on saying how much fun it was that they were having to play these baddies. But then you can see them dancing the outtakes at the end, and they were clearly having a good time. So
Yeah,
that's the
everybody-
caliber of actor that we were working with is pretty high.